The evening was quiet in the sleepy Virginia town of Redford, just a speck on the map off I-95, the kind of place people pass through without a second glance. Its only diner, Millie's, flickered in the dusk, the neon sign buzzing like a tired insect. Lieutenant General Daryl Monroe wasn't looking for trouble. He was looking for a meal. That's all. 52, seasoned, and resolute, General Monroe had spent 3 decades earning the gleaming stars on his shoulders. Silver-haired and upright, his dress blues bore more ribbons than most soldiers ever saw in their lives. His chest, broad and still firm from years in the field, held the weight of battles fought in deserts and jungles, in war rooms and refugee camps. That night, he just needed a cheeseburger and a coffee before continuing on to Fort Liberty for a classified briefing. He pulled into Millie's parking lot in a rented Ford sedan, the engine ticking as it cooled. The moonlight hit the chrome trim, and his military plates caught the attention of 2 local patrol officers parked nearby. Officer Clint Rawls, in his late 40s with a beer belly and a permanent scowl, squinted through his windshield. "Fancy car for this dump," he muttered to his partner, Officer Kyle Denton, a rookie barely out of the academy with the swagger of someone who hadn't learned when to be quiet. "Military tags," Denton noted, chewing gum lazily. "But he don't look like any general I've ever seen." They didn't run the plates. They didn't ask dispatch to confirm anything. They just watched, eyes narrowing, suspicion building where none was earned. Inside the diner, the world spun differently. Truckers ate quietly. A young couple sipped sodas at the counter. Monroe stepped through the door, his presence turning heads not from recognition, but from the quiet command he carried. Millie herself, a woman in her 60s with a voice like gravel and kindness in her eyes, welcomed him with a nod. "Take any booth, hon." He slid into a corner booth, placed his cap gently beside him, and ordered a cheeseburger with fries and a black coffee. His phone buzzed emails from the Pentagon, a text from his wife, Renee, checking if he was safe. "Always," she asked. He smiled softly, thumbs tapping back a quick reply. "Still on the road. See you tomorrow." The coffee was hot, the burger decent. A moment of peace. He barely noticed the 2 officers had gotten out of their car, pacing near the entrance. "Evening," Millie said, topping off his cup. Her gray ponytail swayed as she leaned forward slightly, a little curious. "You stationed nearby?" "Just passing through," Monroe replied, voice calm. "Headed south for a meeting." She nodded, impressed by his composure. "You look sharp, sir." "Real sharp." He left a generous tip, stood, and stepped back out into the night. The air had turned colder, his breath forming light clouds as he walked toward his car. Then, from the shadows, "Hey, stop right there." The voice was sharp, slicing through the stillness. Monroe turned slowly, his military instincts surfacing in a heartbeat. Not fear, never that, but an alertness honed through years of dodging both bullets and bureaucracy. Officer Rawls approached, flashlight blinding. "That's a hell of a costume, sir," he sneered, circling Monroe like a vulture. "Where'd you get it?" "Party store." Monroe stood firm. "I'm Lieutenant General Daryl Monroe, United States Army." Denton smirked, stepping in closer. "Got ID for that fantasy?" "Left pocket." "Wallet," Monroe said slowly. "Go ahead." Rawls grabbed it, flipped it open. The ID gleamed under the light photo, name, rank, all in order. "Could be fake," Rawls muttered. "You don't look like a general." Monroe didn't flinch. "How many black generals have you met, officer?" Rawls blinked, caught off guard by the bluntness. His hand twitched toward his holster. "Don't get smart. Call Fort Liberty. Ask for Colonel Janice Delaney. She'll confirm who I am." "We're not calling your buddies," Denton snorted. "Hands on the car." "I won't comply with an unlawful order," Monroe replied calmly. "You have no grounds." That was enough. Rawls grabbed Monroe's wrist, twisting it painfully, and slammed him face first onto the hood of the rental. Cold steel cuffs snapped around his wrists, scraping the skin beneath the sleeve of his uniform. "You're under arrest." Impersonating a federal officer. Even then, Monroe remained composed. "My phone's in my right pocket." Call the number labeled Pentagon. But the officers were already dragging him toward their cruiser, adrenaline drowning out reason. From inside Millie's, several patrons had stepped out, phones raised, recording. "Stop it," Millie shouted. "He didn't do anything." "Back off," Rawls barked, waving her away. Monroe sat in the back of the patrol car, breath fogging the glass. Not rage, but history pressed on him a weight of every time someone like him had been told they didn't belong, weren't real, weren't worthy. At the Redford Police Department, the fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Monroe sat cuffed to a cold metal table. His once-pressed uniform was now wrinkled, stained from the ground. Rawls and Denton stood nearby, laughing. "Bet he watched too many war movies," Rawls said, sipping coffee. "He's got the lingo down," Denton added. "Slick." Then the door creaked open. Chief Leonard Simmons walked in, his thinning hair and deep-set wrinkles making him look perpetually tired. He held Monroe's ID in one hand, frowning. "This says you're a general," he said. "I am. Joint Special Operations Command. Call Fort Liberty. Colonel Delaunay." Simmons looked at his officers, unsure. He was being difficult, Rawls said. "Didn't follow commands." "I complied," Monroe said. "Gave ID. Suggested verification. Stayed calm. They tackled me." The chief sighed, scratched his neck. "Fine. I'll make one call. But if you're playing games..." He dialed. Monroe spoke clearly. "Priority line. General Monroe for Secretary Templeton." A beat passed. Then the speakerphone crackled. "Monroe? Where the hell are you?" "Redford, Virginia. Local PD's got me cuffed." Impersonation. "I need this cleared now." The voice on the other end grew icy. "Put the officer on." Chief Simmons swallowed hard. This is Chief Simmons. You've detained a 3-star general," Secretary Templeton barked. "A man who's led global missions, brief presidents. Release him now, or MPs are en route, and the governor's office is getting a call." Rawls paled. Denton backed against the wall. "Unlock him," Simmons ordered, voice cracking. The key fumbled. The cuffs fell. Monroe stood slowly, rubbing his wrists. Simmons stammered. "Sir, this was a mistake." "No," Monroe said coldly. "This was a choice. You chose to ignore the truth. Because of how I look. That's not a mistake. That's a failure." He walked out, boots echoing on the tile, leaving behind silence and shame. By morning, the story exploded. Footage from Millie's hit every platform. General Monroe trended worldwide. From Instagram to X, from Reddit threads to television anchors, everyone had an opinion. Millie gave interviews. He was respectful, didn't raise his voice. They cuffed him like a criminal. Rawls and Denton were suspended. Old complaints, surface profiling, misconduct, dismissed by the department before. Body cam footage confirmed the aggression. The Pentagon opened an inquiry into local law enforcement conduct towards service members of color. Protests surged. Signs outside the station read, "Salute, don't shackle, see the rank, not the race." Calls flooded City Hall. Simmons resigned within the week. Monroe remained silent until a week later, when he addressed a crowd at Fort Liberty. "I didn't ask for this spotlight," he said, "but I won't turn from it. I wear this uniform for every soldier who's been judged before they speak. For every kid who sees a roadblock and chooses to push through anyway." Young officers lined up afterward, eyes wide. "How do you stay strong, sir?" one black captain asked. "You don't walk through fire alone," Monroe replied. "You walk so others don't have to. You show them the way." Redford changed. A new police chief from Baltimore took over Shirley Harper, a no-nonsense reformer. Bias training, transparency boards, community liaison programs. Schools taught about justice. Churches hosted town halls. Millie's became a landmark. A mural of Monroe stern, proud, dignified graced the diner's side. One night, at home, Renee showed him a viral post. A photo of him at the booth in Millie's, captioned, "Heroes don't bend." He chuckled, shaking his head. "They finally see?" She smiled, gripping his hand. "They do, and they'll remember." Monroe gazed at the stars outside, thinking of his father, who fought in Vietnam and came home to silence. "We build it better, Dad," he whispered. "One battle at a time." He didn't return to Redford. He didn't need to. The world had seen what happened there, and it wouldn't forget.